Good morning, Ronalin. Welcome to Shambhavi Spectrum, Sewing Machine Speaks SMS. Thank you so much for finding the time on this Saturday morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Bobby, for having me in your show.
Tell me, when did your sewing machine journey begin?
I think it started during the pandemic. Although when I was little, I have been introduced to sewing because my grandma and my mom are both sewing for their part-time job. Like they do sewing for pillows and stuffed toys like that. But personally, I started my own journey of sewing during the pandemic on 2020 because we don't have anything to do. We're just stuck at home. You need to find something to do, and there is this one person who wanted to give away the sewing machine that she's not using. For the barter has been very rampant during that time, so I said, why not take it and do it on my free time? So that's when I started.
Okay, very nice. So, where did you start the basics from? Did you look up YouTube or did you ask your friends? Where did you start, and what is the first thing that you stitched?
The first thing that I've stitched was a cutout from our old what do you call this, bed sheet. I have made some throw pillowcases out of that. I've watched in YouTube, and I also look at Pinterest, and then I have find a group in Facebook, which is where I joined and have been introduced to many enthusiasts in Dubai that encouraged me to do it.
Right, great. Yes, I think the pandemic brought people closer. They brought them back to handmade and also gave little time to focus on things which we had probably removed from our memories. And so tell me, what do you do otherwise in life, apart from the sewing part of it? How are you connected to the business of sewing?
Yeah. Um, I have just started my weaving company in the Philippines. So I manage it remotely, although I weave also from here with my portable machine. So basically what we do is we make hand woven fabrics, all right, that are organic and tropical fiber. So I have to come up with ideas on where we can use the fabrics that are being made in my company. So it gives me enough resources to explore sewing as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So organic is the most happening word now around everything, and especially around fabric as well. So
Yes.
tell us more about what do you mean when you say the fabric is organic? And I love the fact that you're weaving. So there are so many things I want to ask you, Roland, but please first tell me about the fabric.
Okay, the fabric that we use, we don't, and this is one of our ethos that we will not incorporate anything that's made of poly in our fabric. We use bamboo, 100% bamboo cotton. We're working with the Department of Agriculture of the Philippines as well as Department of Science and Technology in the Philippines. By the way, my company is co-funded by the government because they were really interested with the idea, with the business model canvas. When I told them that I do want to explore how we can come out with fabrics that we can use on sportswear, on reusable diapers for babies. Because when you check what they use, these are mostly plastic based. Yes, they are
Yes.
reusable, but they will not decompose over time. So for our manufacturing company, we made sure that we are only using tropical fibers like raw cotton from Japan, from India, from the Philippines, and then we use also abaca, which is Manila hemp. We are working with Department of Science and Technology on how we can process it to be softer, as well as bamboo.
Very, there's so many things and so many layers to it, actually. And
Yes.
one of the things which I want to ask you is the minute when we say organic, we expect that it'll be expensive. So, is there so much of a difference? And how do you justify that to people who are looking for cheap and still say organic? How do you justify that to them?
it's really challenging when you're like introducing, especially that this is not very widely used materials. We can consider that it's new at our time. It is old during the old times because that's what our um, old people do during the olden days. But now there's a lot of plastic based materials that's available very cheap and very easily. So what I tell my clients when I introduce my fabrics, I tell them that don't look at how much you're paying upfront right now. You might be paying 10, 15, 20 dirhams per meter of the fabric that you're buying. I might be selling you more, like 50 to 100 dirhams, depending on the width of the fabric. But if you think about how the impact of the fabric that you're going to use will be, it's gonna cost us the world if you're gonna pile up a lot of plastics. Like, if I can say some fast fashion brands that are using poly based fabrics, they are creating a lot of waste that are not going to decompose. The fabrics that we're using, you can use it for a long time. It's very strong. The strength of the fabric cannot be compared to machine made because these are all handmade. Plus, if you don't want to use them with your wearables anymore, you can just throw it and it will decompose along with the soil. So you can use it as a fertilizer for the plants. So that's why I'm saying from nature, because the fibers came from nature, to couture and then back to nature again.
Such an important part of the fact that we need to be responsible as individuals and as companies. And I think we have to learn to say no to short term gratification and say that no, this is my mother earth and I need to take care of her. On everybody plays a role in this. Tell me more about your weaving. I'm so excited, and I wish I could have shared the pictures, but it doesn't seem to be happening right now. But I will share pictures later on. Tell me more about the weaving. You said you have a machine here also,
Mhm.
and let me tell you, one of the things in because I'm from India, and Mahatma Gandhi and the chakra and the fact that he encouraged people to weave clothing, khadi, and it is so much coming back into popularity now. More people are doing, but it's very difficult. So please tell me, how do you manage? Where do you get the yarn from, and what is your output like?
Yeah, I do have some samples that I can show here later. I'll just tell
Shippy.
my yeah. So I was exposed to weaving because in the UAE there are a lot of Indians, and I have a lot of Indian friends. So when I always get what they call this curious about what they're wearing, the scarves and all the saris. So I was like, I really like the fabric. I don't know how it's made. Is it by machine? And then when they tell me this is handmade, so I it's so amazing, like handmade. Okay, so I researched on that, and then on I think during last year when I was so bored, I got really in depth. Can you imagine? I really don't have any past relation, or any past ideas about textiles. I just buy textile, use it. And then when I came to know how the textiles are made, how much waste it produced, like the chemicals they use to color it, to print print the fabrics, it's like, oh my god, this is too much. So I have done my research. I tried to find companies who are using um, eco-friendly fabrics, and then I look for companies who can make it for me. Sometimes you feel like not really happy with what you're seeing because okay, they make it handmade, but the fiber that they're using doesn't really convince me because they mix the natural fiber with poly just to reduce the price. So I said, why not I make it if I can do it. So I have found some classes online from the Philippines, and I said, okay, I will try to do it. So I convinced my sister to be physically attending the the lessons while I do it virtual. So we both studied it for like 6 months. We studied how textiles are made, how to actually do it, and then I joined groups as well. Weaving is very challenging. People think it's hard, but actually when you started to do it, it's very therapeutic. It's not really hard. It's easy. Like when you figure out how to lay out and how to dress the loom, that's the hard part. But weaving itself, it's like just playing.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. You've just opened a new world, and I am sometimes so grateful to technology because we are talking thanks to technology, and
Yes.
you have learned a whole new skill and you have
Mhm.
made it into your profession now. That is so admirable. Really, congratulations to you and your sister.
Thank you so much.
And so tell me more about the company in Dubai and how do you operate? And if somebody wanted to look at the things, your offerings, where would they have to look? Tell us more
Um,
about that.
my company name is Oweavers Mill Woven Fabrics Manufacturing. We are based in the Philippines in Taguig. We can work with stockists in Dubai because we are at the moment we are not looking at retailing it here. We're more like looking for wholesalers who can put it in their stocks, like textile retailers who can use these materials. Philippine fabrics are not very much visible, especially here in Dubai. Indian and Indonesian or African
Yes.
fabrics are all available here, but not Philippine fabrics. So I said that there are a lot of Filipinos there, and the fabrics that we have are competitive as well. Why not introduce it? Like for example, I have this fabric which is it's called tinalak. It's a very traditional fabric. This is made of Manila hemp. This is
Mm-hmm.
made of Manila hemp is abaca.
Mm.
It's from a banana variant. It's a banana tree variant. They soak the bark of the
Mm.
tree itself, not the leaf. They soak the bark in water and then they take out the fiber out of that, and they weave it. They dye it with plant dyes, and then we weave it. So this is the result of that.
Okay,
So
so banana stem, I know we cook it. But yeah, we cook. We have recipes with banana stem, but this is a new one. And yes, the fiber is very good for the health, the gut.
yes.
That's why we have it. But so is it soft? Is it, I mean, what can
Um
you make with it?
the traditionally made one like this, you can make it as gowns because it's a very structured fabric. You can make it as bags. Some people make it for home textiles as well. But since I told you that I'm working with the Department of Science and Technology, we're right now working on making it softer, and we're incorporating it with with a cotton. So we're
Mm.
mixing the banana and the cotton and making it as soft as possible because I really do want it to be draped easily so that when I make summer dresses, because this fabric from the banana, comparable to bamboo, it's also cold on the skin. So if we're living
Mm.
in tropical countries, including here, of course, in the UAE, we're in the desert,
Yes,
mostly
yeah.
summer. We should wear something that feels better, especially when you're outside. That doesn't feel hot. Most of the poly based fabrics, they smell, they gives more warmth to your body, so it's not really good with the temperature. But these natural fibers, these natural fabrics, if people will really experience them with their wearables, then they will appreciate that. Okay, so the amount of money that I'm paying more on this really
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah, especially if it's comfortable, then that is what one is looking for
Exactly, yes,
ultimately.
yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to use it for reusable diapers for the babies,
Yes.
for example. Why do you want your baby to use plastic all the time and it's just going to make the baby suffer because of the heat?
Yes, correct.
Yes,
There are so many facets to it when you look at it.
yes,
So, one thing which you mentioned was about for sporty material also. So, the sporty material is supposed to be stretchy and probably,
yes.
lighter. Then, how does this organic work with that, the material which you're talking about? Tell me a little bit about that, Ronalyn.
Right now, there are a lot of wearables for the sports and lifestyle wear that are bamboo based. They've already explored how we can make the bamboo soft and how to make the bamboo stretchable. That's already available in the market, the yarns that they use. The only thing is they can only weave it by the machine. So right now we're still on the research and development on how we can weave it manually, or otherwise if we will not be successful on doing it manually, I am putting a full solar system on my plant and my mill, so that even if I use a electronically powered machine, it will be solar by solar, because that's what we really want to do. My husband and I have agreed as well with my sister that we will, as much as possible, not use non-renewable energy, and we will not use as much water like other textile companies.
You are on a mission, and I really wish you all the best, because if the intent is there, the impact can be created. I firmly believe in that. And I'm so glad I met you on this platform, Ronalyn.
Thank
So
you.
one important question I want to ask you about: anything which is handmade takes more time, takes more effort. So give us a rough idea: how much time does it take to, let's say, make a meter of cloth, and how much efforts goes into that? Give the audience a little bit idea about what they are paying for. It's not just the fabric, also for the efforts which go behind the fabric. So tell me a
Exactly.
little bit about that.
Actually, I always tell our clients that when you buy hand woven fabric from any country, you're not just buying a fabric that you will use to sew anything. You're buying an art. It's a piece of art. Like, how much would you pay for a painting? How much would you pay for a sculpture? Why not pay enough for this hand woven fabrics? Because you're going to wear art all the time. It's not just hanging there in your wall. You'll be using it, and you can pass it on even. Weaving a fabric takes a lot of time. That's where the cost really piles up, from preparing the yarns on the warping frame, because there's what we call a warping frame. That's where we prepare and count how many threads we're going to use. Like, let's say for a 27 inches wide fabric, it will be around 1,200 to 1,400 of yarns going round and round on that frame, and sometimes it takes 4 to 6 hours to do that for a 10 meter length. So imagine if you're going to make 20, 30 meters, it's going to take 2 to 3 days to finish that. And then you will dress your loom, you will prepare it on your machine. It takes 2 to 3 days to prepare the loom. That's why I said that the beginning process of weaving is the hard part. But when you have finished threading the loom and then putting all the threads laid out, that's the easy part. I think in a day, um, 3 to 4 meters we can weave, one person.
And this is after you've dressed up and everything is ready at that
Yes.
time. So that means we
Yes.
are already into day 5 or day 6. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes. So in a month, one weaver in 1 month can weave at least 30 to 40 meters in a month. That's
And
how much hard work it is.
yes, and I'm just trying to think that while dressing the loom, if the threads are not in proper, or some color, something is there, and then there is a small, you can make out the mistake once it's woven,
Exactly.
maybe not during that time. And somehow I find that people are not so kind to these things. They don't realize that it's a human who has made, and imperfection is a part of making it. So I'm so glad that you're telling and sharing more of this today. I hope the audience understands this more and is more tolerant of these things, more forgiving, more accepting. It's so wonderful to talk to you, Ronlin. And like, SMS series is just surprising me every time. I had no idea what I was going to talk in the previous series or what I was going to learn. And today I've learned so much from you. And I wish you all the best. And I hope that what you're creating for the country, with the help of your government, reaches everywhere. Everyone wants variety, everyone wants new things, and everyone wants to own a part of something from other places. So definitely, you're on a wonderful mission. Thank you so much, Ronan. Is there something else that you would like to tell me about your sewing machine and or about the company that you have? Would you like to share anything else or any message you want to give? Please go ahead. Feel free.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us here. It's really a great opportunity for us to share. It's not only to share about my company, of course, that's one thing, but the big the big mission here is to make the people aware of what we use, of what we buy, because we have only one home. Like, even if I'm from the Philippines, you're from India, somebody's from Europe, we only have one home. It's earth. And if we don't take good care of it, we will all be homeless. Not us, maybe, but our future generations. So that's what I really want to uh, echo around the community that I'm in, especially here in Dubai, where shopping is really, really easy to do because it's a little bit, let's be honest, it's easier to earn money here, and fashion is just around everywhere, so it's easy to like shop and buy and then throw away your clothes. It's really so pleasing to know that there are a lot of pre-love companies here, so you feel like, okay, even if we shop a lot, we can pass on the clothes to someone else who will use it the next time. But there are a lot of other options as well, like, don't think about uh the money that you're paying upfront right now. We should always be aware of the impact of what we're going to resonate to the world when we buy something that's disposable. Because basically, that's what happened to the world. Everything has been disposable because of the technology. Like, we don't use disposable diapers before. Can you imagine how much disposable diapers are being thrown every year? Plus the masks. It added up as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God, how
Gloves. The gloves.
the gloves, the mask, how much waste have we produced in that 2 years that we are into the pandemic? So I think all of us should work together, and try to change the way how we acquire our clothes, our home textiles. We don't always have to wear new every time, because that's what we see. Like, every time somebody, social media is there. Nobody wants to be seen wearing the same thing all the time. That's not normal nowadays. But let's make it normal again, because that's what we do back in the
Yes.
days. We rewear our clothes. Like, if you have something for a special occasion, you don't use it once only. You use it again and again. You just rotate it and then you pass it on. That is not normal nowadays. They feel like it's awkward to reuse clothes. So I think it's just about um, informing others that it's not awkward. It's normal.
It's not.
Yeah, we pass on clothes, we rewear them, we let someone
Yes.
borrow it. That's okay. It's not gonna make you a little less of who you are. It might make you a little more of
More.
who you are, because actually you're contributing on the mission of United Nations to save the world.
Yes. Such a beautiful and such a lovely message, Ronalyn. On this note, I will finish here today. Don't go away, just stay put, and I'll talk to you offline.
Of
Thank you
course.
so very much. And just hold
Thank
on.
you.
Bye to everybody. Until the next session of Sewing Machine Speaks SMS.